Welcome to 2 cents short of a dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your host. That's Motiz. I'm Rue. Today we're in the entertainment world. I want to talk about a show that's it's an Apple TV original. I really want to get to talk about this one because the last Apple TV original that I really liked was Severance, and we weren't doing this yet. But I recently saw Silo, and I reached out to you, and I'm like, yo, I watched a show called Silo. You should check it out. And you're like, oh, I already saw it. So now, so I kind of want to talk about it today because we really haven't shared our thoughts. But first of all, I'm going to ask you, did you like it? You don't have to rate it, but did you like it, or and what's one thing that's standing out to you in your brain that made you like this show, if you did?
So if I'm being completely honest with the show itself, right? I'm not gonna lie, I love the show, right? For those who haven't necessarily watched the show, at this point we're probably gonna go into spoilers, right? So this is probably your time just to click off the video, if I'm being honest. So the show itself kind of it's set in a post-apocalyptic world where you have humanity kind of living underground, so to speak, and allegedly they have this notion that the outside world is and being inhibited by this deadly atmosphere that if they go outside they won't be able to breathe and they'll quote unquote die, right? But within the silo, within this actual infrastructure, there's struggle for power, survival, a lot of secrets. And what I enjoyed the most about the show was they did a phenomenal job. The actors in particular, especially like Rebecca, I forget her last name. They had Common, which was cool. He did a better job than I actually initially gave him credit for. So the actors did a phenomenal job, and the pacing was phenomenal. I felt like at a given point in time, they made me forget about the deadly atmosphere and made me more concerned about the politics happening within the silo itself, right? Especially with judicial and a lot of things, cover-ups happening, murders happening. At a given point in time, there's a side quest, with the engine, and they had to fix the engine. Otherwise, there's no lights like forever. I think they did an excellent job. The show definitely exceeded my expectations, and I definitely love the show. What about you?
Yeah. So I definitely liked it too. And I think, what you mentioned, the atmosphere that they created, the setting that they created inside the silo, right? Because in these dystopian future shows where like the world's dying outside or it's dead outside, you kind of want to know what happened. How did the world get like this?
Right.
But I agree. Forget all that. I was just like into the corruption and the politics that was taking place inside the silo, right? And it was crazy because like Daniel Oyelowo and Rashida Jones, who played the officer. I forgot the first sheriff's name, and his wife.
His name, yeah.
They're not small actors. You know what I'm saying? So to see them, spoilers ahead, go out so early in the show, I'm just like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? So the stakes are real, they're pretty high. But then Rebecca Ferguson's character comes in, Juliet Nichols, and then she kind of just steals the show. Like, it's so tense. I feel like every time she's in something, you're just like, yo, hurry up, don't get caught. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then some of the characters, I feel like you just don't trust. But at points, it's like you don't know who not to trust, right? There's even a play, they kind of like are pawning everything off on this one character that you think is maybe the big bad person, and it turns out that person's just a puppet in the grand scheme of everything. You know what I'm saying? They're just playing everything off on this person. But then after that, Juliet is like, okay, she thinks she figures it out. She's like, no, they're not worried about that person. They're worried about this person. And in the end, it was neither of these two people that they were worried about. You know what I'm saying? So the misdirection also was excellent in the show. It was like a good binge. I think I watched it over the course of 2 days. I could have did it in one if I really wanted to.
Right.
But I wanted to like savor it a little bit. Excellent show. I really recommend it. It's on Apple TV. And I think what everyone kind of wants to talk about, though, is the ending of Silo and what's going to come next. I didn't read the book. You didn't read the book, so we're not book readers. So it's just going to be like hypothesis, right? So, at the end, Juliet gets out the silo and she's the first person to survive out the silo.
Right.
So, and then they pan out and you see a bunch of other silos.
Yeah.
So what's your theory of the other silos and the relationship with this silo?
Yeah, and it was funny because it's like because usually I'm we both are pretty good at predicting things, you know. So I was kind of like, there were certain things I was able to predict, but I just love the way they pieced it together. But that ending, I did not. I was shocked by it because I was like, oh, it was kind of give me Maze Runner vibes, like where there's a bunch of different mazes at the end. It's just not one. But in particular with this one, I was like, man, it's multiple silos. We have probably multiple civilizations, right, with different people, and they're probably going through the same thing, right? And they're all probably being controlled by the same figurehead, right? Judicial might knows about this, right? And that might break the actual common denominator. So that surprised me with all the silos, and then it has me thinking, how many other Juliets are out there as well, right? Where she can come in contact with, and then this quote unquote rebellion, is this kind of a repeat of that? And what is the historical context behind the first rebellion? How did that happen? Right. So very interesting to me. I think that you probably meet up with a few others and kind of try to, try to find ways to infiltrate other silos and kind of go from there, you know?
Yeah, well, they lied to them, right? Because they told them everyone in this silo were the last 10,000 people on Earth, which they were not, you know.
Yep.
But why don't they want to know about the other silos? And I guess one thing I question is, are all the silos really on the same page? Do they all believe in and adhere to what the founders have laid, or is there a risk that this silo isn't coherent? I'm assuming the silo that end is at number 18 because I've seen the number 18 several times. So I'm wondering if they think Juliet's a danger if she gets to another silo where they don't see eye to eye, you know what I'm saying? And she can give them information and leverage and possibly overtake their silo, you know? So I guess I'm just kind of confused at, why do they show, and also why do they show them the image, like the paradise like image when they go outside? Right? Why do that? If you want people to think that it's horrible outside, why not show them that it's really horrible? Why, when they get outside, is it simply just to make them clean? Because it's like, oh, it's beautiful out here, I got to clean this so y'all guys can really see it. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm still a little confused about that, but definitely the relationship with the other silos and the door that she told the mayor about, right? The guy who took over as mayor.
Yeah.
She told him about the door, and I could not tell if he knew about the door or was he kind of surprised when he said it. His reaction was really shocking. He looked at her, but it seemed like a bit of confusion. So I'm wondering if there's other ways to tunnel into the other silos.
I think that's probably the case. And I think the reason probably why they give them that image when they go outside is to prevent them from seeing other silos. I think that's what it is, like to prevent them from seeing the actual truth. Whereas when she used the sheriff's badge and it fell through, then it kind of disrupted everything.
Because if they see the other silos and let's say they run back before the because like they're giving them faulty tape, so the atmosphere can get into their suit and kill them. So like before someone dies, if they see it and run back, say there's more silo, you know what I'm saying, and like cause an uproar, but Walt came and supplied her with the good tape, which was, I think it was great writing too. Because they kept talking about this tape and I'm like, why is this tape so important? Why do people care about tape? And then we saw why tape was so important
from the very beginning, even from the you stole tape, right? Like to that concept of at the end. Now it's like excellent. Yeah, it was definitely great writing for sure. Like you said, I don't know the reason as to why, because I do believe Judicial is bigger than what we think it is, and I think that they probably have a specific person in each silo that plays an inherent role. But I also think it's one of those situations where they're not giving them all the information, right? So maybe they understand the mayor understands that there are multiple other silos, but he don't probably understand how deep it goes, right? And keeping civilization coddled is a way to kind of impose control. So that's probably why they just want them their own infrastructure, keep things running how it is. That creates peace. Not sure, but it's a lot of definitely. I have a lot of questions, and
I really
come out with season 2, which I hope they do.
I really want to know what's the biggest secret overall, so I'm interested to see that, because right now it's not completely adding up, which I think is a good thing because now I'm still interested, right? So I'll say this: like, subscribe, but comment carefully. Don't tell us what's going to happen in the books. You know, we haven't read the books, but if you haven't seen Silo, definitely go check it out. I really recommend it. I think it's an excellent show. It's a quick binge. And if you watch it and you haven't read the book, then comment, you know, tell us your thoughts. But please, book readers, don't spoil it for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please don't, you know.
Okay, so. 2 cents short of $1, and we'll be back with more reviews later.